Got a reminder tomorrow?
Just one thing?
You can't get out.
You want to?
I know. Were you really wearing shirts?
Oh, yeah, we got a day.
Were you here last time, Sean?
Oh, yeah.
Were you Sean?
That was the one the other night, huh?
Okay. The guy last month was Sean, right?
No,
Was you last month? You made a statement?
yeah, Jay.
Okay. Write down your name, because we didn't get your name. We have to put it in the minutes, you know, when somebody...
Okay.
Actually, your name and address.
Oh, yeah, that's just But you're
Because
gonna
we
get
always
that.
have to say so-and-so of such and such an address, you know,
Yeah.
commented, yeah.
Gorman, he was so sweet. Sometimes I said, "Too many times."
Trying to figure out like going left and right.
So if you say anything tonight, you're covered.
She was 2 minutes.
You know what?
I hate that kind of nonsense. Whether you believe it or not, I don't care. That doesn't.
What?
That one piqued my interest.
Oh, the last
I told
meeting?
you that.
It is.
There's always something.
Giving them a limit, so it's only like 5 minutes
You're
tops.
getting as bad as anyone.
But hey, how are you? I gotta get something.
Ray, did you get his name and address? Yeah. Okay, good, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, we got that. Consent agenda.
Okay, I know about this, this I figured out my own.
Again, we've got to give the 93,000.
Yeah.
Well, are we gonna,
Are we gonna credit them or are we gonna give it back?
they're, the building for the. Reduce their building.
Yeah, but no, the ones that she gave me don't make
How big, how deep is it going? 6 feet? 8 feet? Size resolution.
It's easy. Yeah, we had to reduce the sales
Right.
for the land plan. Reduce the 8 meeting miles, 8 to 65. That gives you 9142. Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, she can do that, this piece. Thank you.
Well, you were on a roll, we was supposed to go.
Missed the hierarchy. I heard. That in Freehold.
Gonna have some fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I always say so, you know me?
Yeah,
I took my wife's son to excellent.
Yeah, one thing.
I like, I took her to 2 restaurants. Before we had dinner, I took her in Chowder House for a little snack, a little mini cup of clam chowder.
You're broke at that point.
Bacon, and then the bacon flavor really gave the kick up. It was interesting. Although I've had better in terms of thicker. It was thicker and watery, but.
If it's thicker, the only do is export Township.
I like more clams, but it was very tasty, especially with that bacon. And then we had, as an appetizer, sliders. I ordered 1 portion of sliders, you get 2 sliders. So we started Spanish and French fries. Then we went over to some people from out of there. Some people on the
last like 7, 8, 5
selling
minutes.
things,
Yeah.
wound up buying
Like
4
10
CDs.
10 minutes into
Then we
the
went in,
first
looked
half.
around the.
And now they're just
exhibit
fast.
hall, Then went to our patient.
Yeah.
In the US, yeah.
I
So the
had
goal
this
30 seconds.
Yeah.
32 seconds.
It was excellent. She had lamb shank.
And then altitude.
That was so well
Purpose,
done.
hamstrings.
Yeah, and that's, they think broke his nose.
Yeah.
That's what it looked
I
like.
wanna know how
He
that-
did, the feet was all crooked
Yeah.
and they showed.
And he was touching it, and it was just like.
So
Boring blood.
You
Definitely. I think there was.
All in the wrist.
How do you get that?
Yeah.
They're gonna be honest. They're not
I'd
gonna be
grab it,
original.
if I'm
Or German.
hungry and I
They'll be
have to go, I grab a piece of driver's bread and take it with me.
That was very nice to do.
That's good, that's fine.
And then the other one, because the
You should have
process was
to- oh, okay.
getting us 12:30, we were around at 10:15. Well, we're back at the house.
Is that for a week or for one day?
I was we wound up bringing 99% of it home, but we had no lunch that day. Illegal. In fact, we finished.
Yeah, I think they are today.
Oh, all right.
I think so.
That was interesting.
Let me
No
still
big
leave
deep
my
breakfast
friend
next
first.
time.
No way.
No, you go back up to more slam chowder.
That's not a typewriter, how does that even work?
I like this
It's
job.
phonetics, certain.
Well, it's got clams in it.
Yeah.
That's sometimes a problem.
But
I'll show you this one
I
word, like,
remember
this
going
is a
to
T
Boston.
over here, this is AOEU, that's the long I sound for me, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
is T over here, so the word tight for me is one
You go to Boston and No Name, you know what a No Name?
No.
That's a famous restaurant in Boston. It has No Name.
Oh, there it
Oh, wait a
It used to be out on a pier. It was just a little diner in a wall and had no name. Everybody, but the lineup was all around the corner.
I remember going to.
That's okay.
I forget
That
the
looks
name
so
of the
difficult.
restaurant,
It's
But the
Yeah.
waitresses were rather salty.
Yeah.
certain words, you know.
Does it pick up the words in the background too as you're typing, or is
Thank
it?
you,
I
sir.
have to type it out.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Salty waitresses.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay,
It's
so-
nice.
okay, take it.
the chairman said you're done.
What do you mean?
I
It's
think
amazing.
you
Give
know,
back,
I
give
didn't
back.
hear any of it.
Give
The
back.
lady had me, the first lady, she, I would've made up my mind right there when she said the road is bad.
Wow.
That's what got to me.
You have to
Oh,
prove
you
it.
doing, young lady?
You can't just, you
You
can't
said
just.
no, right? You said,
I ran the motion for now. So I told them, yeah, we were, it's just not the right spot. They'll probably win the appeal.
if I was over. So then what happened?
Well, unfortunately, happens all too often. The judge overrules the rule.
It's not fair. I mean, it's not fair.
The state's practically run like that.
I'm wondering if. One line.
Goes beyond three.
It's gonna be about the same size. Yeah, it was a long night. Like, we should have stopped it earlier, 5 minutes early. I gave from the word go. We talked about that earlier. Planning board. I wasn't thinking about it. And it was glass,
Well, not only that, but it takes too much space.
He said his driveway.
Well, that has the, there's supposed to be. I agree. I agree. It's not a complete application. I absolutely agree.
For the end of the week, because I thought they were gonna bury it.
I don't know if you noticed, but I turned to Jim and I said, I pulled him aside and I said,
Stuff is gonna be in the caps.
he's like, well, they can make an amendment. You guys can still approve it. I'm like, I would never find out.
It's gonna be delayed.
Days.
I was right. That's the scariest thing.
By yourself?
That was a.
No, they said no.
Yeah, it's outside, up there, up there. No, you walk.
We don't ride.
That was the Trinity School.
How did you know?
In the newspaper, well, online.
There's no pictures for cable, was there? Is there pictures?
I saw it online, I don't think, so. I don't remember seeing it. But I kind of saw it last year. That's what they said, it's an event that.
Hey,
Good to go. Yep.
All just about that, the one.
yeah, it was a long.
That poor lady just came at 11 o'clock, she said, I guess we're not going to church. She's still waiting for her.
That was awful. They should have told her at the beginning not to.
Well, you know, she couldn't figure it out.
I'm surprised she stayed around.
All right, look at 8 o'clock in the morning.
They should have told her from
Her
early on.
license says it's 8 o'clock, my wife says 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Be nice to her.
Want to start on time.
We need revenue.
Ray's got to come back. John's got to come back. Oh, right. John's out there. Quiet.
No. Junko. Nebraska was okay, he understood. He had told everybody 4 hours ago. Junko's people started.
It was good for Monday night. It was very good. I got to see
Some
all my
respect for
friends
that.
were there, were all their grandchildren.
So, you know what I think, like, they're,
Are we all there?
teaching.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Always and everywhere.
The notice requirement provided for the open public meetings act will satisfy the notice of the city of the practice of the public in the act of the public press on February 24th, 2002 at the times on February 20th, 2020. This notice is posted at the Township of Middletown Sewerage Administration Building, the Township of Middletown Fiscal Building, filed in the Township Clerk. First item is the roll call.
Mr. Ostrander?
Here.
Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mrs. Smith? Here. Mr. Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Yeah.
Mrs. Absent? Mrs. Bell? Here. Mrs. Absent?
Madam Chairwoman, if the board is so disposed, may we switch items 1 and 2 and conduct the connection hearing first to allow the Florida person to go away, and it doesn't take long, as you know, and then we should get into the audit. Second. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to conduct a public hearing regarding the connection fee change for the year 2014. And I will ask that our independent auditor, Mr. William Meyer, be sworn for that purposes, and then we will go on with it. Mr. Meyer, would you please raise your right hand? Okay, we're on the record for the public hearing regarding the sewer connection fee. Mr. Mahler, would you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
My name is William Myler, it is spelled Kennedy-Myler.
And Mr. Mahler, you are in fact the independent auditor duly appointed for the Township of Middletown Sewage Authority, is that correct?
That's correct.
And as part of your duties as the independent auditor, you have in fact conducted an investigation as to the total capital which exists within the Township of Middletown Sewage Authority, and you conducted that investigation in conjunction with the authority staff. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did you come to a conclusion as to the total capital which exists in the Township of Middletown Sewage Authority?
I did.
And what is that number, please?
That is $131,580,260.
And in determining that number, you accounted for all the factors as outlined in New Jersey State Statute 40:14A-8. That is, you included refunded or took into account refunded bonds through December 31st, 2013, interest paid through December 31st, 2013, revenues that were not derived from bonding. You excluded all capital received from other agencies, other public agencies, gifts, and whatnot. Is that correct?
That's correct, but that number of capital received from other agencies was $6,963,022, leaving a net total capital of $124,617,238.
Thank you. did you make a determination as to the total number of users of the system? And how many users were on the system?
At December 31st, 13, there were 26,810 equivalent users.
And you used the simple formula of dividing the total capital by the number of equivalent users, is that correct?
Yes.
And when you divided the total number of the total capital by the total number of equivalent users, did you come to a connection fee figure?
I did.
And what is that figure?
$4,648.
I'm going to enter into the record what's been previously marked TOSA 1, which are the affidavits of publication, noting that this hearing was notified to the public at least 20 days before today's date, and we will move those into the record as collectively TOSA 1. We are further going to enter into the record Mr. Myler's calculations as they are prepared in what is marked TOSA 2 and have been presented to the board for these purposes. I'm going to hand it back to someone for his use, but they are on the record. Does anyone from the board have any questions of Mr. Myler as to how he derived the connection fee for the board company?
Anyone? Seeing none?
Yeah, one of the facts you got to outline is that the connection fee went up by $56
Yes.
from last year.
Yes.
I'm now going to ask if anyone from the public has any questions of our auditor limited solely to the subject area of derivation of the connection fee for 2014. Seeing none, Madam Chairwoman, I will ask that the hearing now be closed.
May I have a second?
Second.
So that motion of the meeting is now closed.
Thank you. Record is now
Do
closed.
we need a voice vote?
For adoption of the connection fee?
No, for closing of the hearing. There's a motion to.
I got a vote.
Got a motion on the floor.
Okay, close the hearing. Is there a second?
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah, we have. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the audit.
Okay, I assume everybody's had a chance to read the report, and I'll go through it in a capsulized version, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to stop me and ask. What you have is the audit report for the year 2013, Township of Middletown Sewerage Authority. The first part of the audit report is management discussion analysis, which is basically prepared by the authority using the audited financial statement numbers. And it's a requirement under government auditing standards for management to try and explain the numbers, to come up with some key highlights in connection with the audit numbers. And you can see that the assets exceeded the liabilities there by $53,136,950. That's the net position of the department. Skipping down to number 2, the authority had revenues of $9,130,000. And it had cash outlays for capital expenditures on a cash basis of $677,000. On page 3, you're required to give a capsulized version of what the net position of the authority is. And all those numbers were derived from the balance sheet, statement of income, from the audited statement. And you're required to give changes in computation of the lead position. So that's what those two statements are. Moving on to page 5, we have the independent auditor's report, which is a clean opinion from the authority. No exceptions were noted, and no issues were discovered during any problems. On page 7, we have the statements of net position. The authority basically is a good financial stance. Total current unrestricted assets are 2.7 million, and restricted assets, primarily cash, are 4.2 million. So between cash and cash equivalents and things that can be converted to cash, we have roughly 6.9 million. The physical plant and infrastructure on a historical cost basis is 62 million. So the total assets come out to $69,166,808. On page 8 is the liabilities aspect of the balance sheet. The liabilities are virtually nil, and accounts payable operations 464. That's normal monthly operating expenditures, and there was a little blip in December for some capital improvements and maintenance items. That's in the 464. Accrued expenses is primarily unpaid sick leave. It decreased a little bit because we had some retirements and paid it out. The items that were to be paid from restricted assets are, the big item is the current portion of the debt, $691,000, and the interest of $140,000.
Bill, question.
Yes.
How come the debt went up?
Well,
What we heard,
you make a,
what we borrow.
it's like an amortization schedule. As you pay down interest, you pay more principal. Your payment is fixed, but your payment is a combination of interest and.
Correct, but in 2012, we had 676,105. In 2013, it was 691,566. I expect it to go down.
I think if you look on page 18.
Well, page.
I just, what I'm seeing from the number there.
Yeah, well, look at page 17, 18.
18.
This is the amortization schedule that's attached to the bonds. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in year 2014, you're gonna pay $300,000 principal. You're gonna pay $636 debt service, okay? So, I'm sorry about that. You're gonna pay $300,000 in principal on the A's, and you're gonna pay $391,000 on the B's. So that's the total of the $691.
So I thought the payment would remain constant, and then as the principal goes down, we'd be, okay.
And I don't know how these numbers were derived, but this is the
From the
amortization.
state.
It's from the state, okay?
Okay.
And the long-term portion of the bonds is $11,711,132. And then you have the unfunded post-retirement medical benefits. That's the amount. The total is over 13 million, which is being amortized over a 30-year period. And this is the third year that, I think the third or maybe the fourth year that we've been accruing. And so the amounts accrued to date is 2.4 million. And that's the portion that's actuarially required to be accrued based upon the actuarial computation. And then we have when we sold the bonds, we sold them at a premium, and we're amortizing the bonds, the premium to income over the life of the bonds. Moving on to page 9, we have our Operating revenues, the user charges. User charges, which includes all the rents from Middletown plus the Highlands, was 8.8 million compared to 9 million last year. It's down quite a bit because in there, as I said, is the Highlands, and we overbilled the Highlands during the year to the extent of about 93,000, which we have to give back. And we have in there the Sandy relief of about $65,000. The board agreed to forgive a number of Sandy customers for 1 year their sewer rents. So that was about 65,000. And for whatever reason, cycle 5, the water usage is down. And those readings come directly from New Jersey American Water. So those three factors are contributing to the reduction in the user charges. And in 2012, we settled right at the beginning of 2012, January of 12, for the 641,000 from the Highlands. Connection fees are what they are what they are. They're down. I assume that connection fees will start to rise from the new projects that are taking place in Middletown. If we look at the operating expenses, I think the best thing to do is to look at page 25. Gives you a complete breakdown of this number. And this statement, the left-hand column is the amended budget, revenues and costs, and the right-hand column is the actual. We just touched upon the operating income, but salaries, the budget amount was 2.5 and we had 2.4. I think the big reduction or difference is in the administrative. Pat retired, and Ray took his position. Well, we didn't hire any replacement for Ray until the latter part of the year. You can see that administrative expenses within $10,000 of the budget. So in total, we're holding to the budget amounts. Might be some variations in between, but in total, the authority's doing a good job monitoring the budget and taking into the administrative expenses. The one thing that did probably throw the actual up is we had to accrue for some lawsuit in 14-3 that was paid out in March, so we accrued that to the 7th of October. Looking at page 26, we have the treatment plant costs. Again, the total treatment plan is $1,470 versus $1,590. The big reduction is in electricity. Maybe chemicals. Those are the big areas where the reductions.
This not for one building, we're stenographer was for classes. Everyone's just go around and say, you know what, I don't want to I'll put in my cars. And then you start for the construction. Not a problem, I checked everywhere. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Moving along, plant maintenance is a big number. The budget was 270, and we came in at 591. There were a lot of Sandy expenditures which were not considered capital, and consequently made the charge for plant maintenance. Post-retirement medical expenses, 689. That was done based upon an actuarial calculation. And this is every other year you have to reload the program with the latest census data and the latest policy premiums. In the in-between year, it's based upon percentage increase. But this is an exact calculation based upon the exact census population and the exact cost of extra premiums for all the different characteristics. So that gives us net operating expenses of $7,839,000 and revenue of $1,290,000. And then we had some interest income of $29,000. So net operating revenue before debt service was $1,320,000, and debt service was $1,020,000. So on a cash basis, we've already generated approximately $300,000 extra. On a full basis, a little different. You can see on page 9. So we just, the cost of providing services, administrative in general, is 7.8. And then we had to add depreciation of the generally accepted accounting principles. So that gives us expenditures of $10 million and an operating loss of $910,000. And non-operating, some interest income, the interest on the debt. We did receive $69,000 from FEMA last year, and we had a gain on disposal of assets of $94,000. Now, we received quite a bit of money from the insurance company, but technically what we have to do for accounting purposes is get the net book value of the assets that were disposed and compare that to the proceeds that we received from the insurance company. So that's how we get the $94,000. There was one vehicle, I don't forget the name, we paid $108,000. The insurance company gave us $165,000.
The pickup truck,
I think it was that.
diesel powered one, no scratch on it, no perfect tires and everything.
So that's the primary reason for this positive number of $94,000.
Should have had more than one.
That was a good investment, like for a kid's.
Yeah.
So our developer contributions were $49,000. So the net change in net position is $80. Yeah, you know, government accounting standards came out with some new terminology. We used to call it net income or change in net assets. Now they call it change in net position. So, and we had a beginning balance of 54, so that gives us net assets or net position at the end of the year of 53. Page 10, we have the statement of cash flow. And the top section there, receipts from user charges, receipts from interest income, payments to suppliers, employees, and money received from FEMA. That's strictly on a cash basis. So the net cash after expenditures was $1,500,000. And from that $1,500,000, we used $447 to increase plant equipment. We spent $677, and we got $229 back from the insurance company. So that gives us a net of $447. And then we paid out $676 for the principal. So the increase in cash for the year is $443. Net cash at 12/31/12 of $4.9. So that gives us the fund. And the bottom section is a reconciliation of the change in current assets and liabilities, which is reached at the top of the page 11 is some required information, supplemental cash flow and non-cash investments. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is notes to financial statement, which hopefully gives the reader some explanation of how the numbers were compiled and put together. Page 17 is a breakdown of the property, plant, and equipment by major category. Note 4 is some detail on the bonds payable. More importantly, page 18 is the amortization of how that debt's going to be repaid by year. Note 5 is some verbiage about the pension plan.
Another question on page 19. As you pointed out, the significant legislation, all cross-border adjustments are frozen. Yet, under this contribution requirements, employees are required to contribute an actuarial, at least for bond, is in the bond service. Employees are required to contribute an actuarial when the rate occurs. The actuarial determined contribution is funded for cost of living adjustments, which is frozen. By increasing our actuarially determined contribution, this is stay frozen, cost of living adjustments for retirees.
I would move.
Find that out.
You know, the New Jersey pension plan is not,
Not fully funded, let's say.
Absolutely,
it's not fully funded, and the information available on it for reporting is scarce again. So,
So something that says it's actuarial would be, not really be actuarial, that according to our definition of
I
actuarial.
try to pull this language together from various sources. Note 6 is the information on the post-employment retirement medical benefits. I think we go to page 23. That's the details of the so-called non-restricted cash accounts, the activity of the 3 accounts for the year. And on page 24 is the restricted cash accounts and what makes up those accounts. 25 and 26 we reviewed. 27 under government accounting standards are required to give a report on internal control, identifying any weaknesses, if any. We didn't identify any weaknesses. And we indicated on page 29 that there were no questions caused. And page 30 is the required schedule listing the officials and the terms and the matter should go.
Anyone have any further questions?
One stupid question, page 21, course report of benefits course. Do we charge, if we have an unfunded liability for the disability, how do we charge mileage and landing mileage for this unfunded portion that really relates to the operation of the treatment?
Well, currently we're not, and that's not in the, I understand the contract with Highlands, that expired. And we're negotiating.
Rich, maybe this is better directed.
But this, in the old contract, this was never included as one of the items with the percentages.
Here's the problem, that's a cost to us based on employees who retired from, say, from operating the plant, which there's, the customer is supposed to pay a portion of it, a certain percentage of that. We have $13 million, which a good portion of that refers back to employees who would be involved in their salaries being proportioned to Highlands or Lake Highlands. I have a problem if we don't have that in the agreement. I just quit this scenario.
There's no agreement right now, and
Well, I'd like
the
to
agreement
see
is
it.
still being worked, and this is one issue that we probably could discuss.
Rich, that's why I think maybe you should look at this.
Right, sir?
Because it's $13 million unfunded, and a good portion of that's gonna be from the operation of the plant.
When you negotiated the last agreement where we changed all those percentages, I think
We allocate 73% of the employees' salaries to the treatment facility. That percentage is accounted for in the total amount charged to our large customers under these agreements on a basis of roughly 6% for each entity, 6% for Highlands and roughly 6% for Atlantic Highlands, based on the total flow of 10.8, the average daily flow of 10.8 million gallons per day.
How do we apportion the post-employment benefits, including both pension costs?
Under the category of benefits generally, we allocate, again, 73% to the treatment plan. So there's.
So that would be included then in the,
Yes.
I just want to make sure it's included.
As part of that benefits, it would be benefits paid to all persons who
And
receive
retirees.
benefits from this authority, retirees, current employees, so on and so forth.
Just want to make sure of that. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good job, Gil.
Well, does anyone have any further questions? Well, Bill, I would like to thank you very much for all your time in putting this together, because I know how long it took me to read it and digest it and understand it and figure it all out. And I'm a financial person, so I can just imagine how long it took the rest of the board members. So I thank them all for their patience in going through this and understanding it. And for you as well in putting it all together for us.
Thank you. We just have one more item,
We don't want to hear.
and that's the, included in the financial statement is a $93,000 give back
Right.
to the Highlands Group. And that is this handout that was in the packet. And that's based upon flows, and it's based upon the last schedule. We take all the expenditures and we apply the percentages in the contract, come out with adjusted cost, and then there's an allowance for capital, and there's an allowance for debt service. So if you look at the first page of the numbers, Thompson's flow was $2,055,594,000, and the Highlands was $364 million. So Highlands flow was 17.72% of total flow. The cost of service was 5.1, and the amount attributed to the Highlands was $908,000 for operating costs. And the capital expenditure amount in debt service was $147,000. So it's a total of, between operating, debt service, and capital, $1,056,000. And we billed $1,149,000. So it looks like we gonna give them a credit for $93,550. And we had talked about $90,000.
That's divided up like 52, 48%, something like that.
I don't know how it's gonna be divided.
I was looking at that today, at the flow breakdown from each borough. I'm always gonna do is sum all the flows, and divide each individual borough's flow by the total that the Lake Highlands Regional Sewage Authority discharging at the percentage by that time.
Just, Michael, so that, because you're new to the board, we go through this exercise every year. Some years they owe us money, other years we owe them.
Right.
So it,
I know, you actually explained that to me.
okay.
And the issue
Some years
is,
they don't pay us.
last year, the issue was really that we didn't have any direct large capital expenditure in the plant. If we had expenditures more in the collector system, then there's gonna be more in there. So they didn't get involved in our collector system.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is the resolution for the service connection fee change.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make it.
May I have a
Second.
second? Thank you.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith? Yes. Mr. Stokes?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Okay, next item is the minutes of the regular meeting of May 19th.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
Just that there was a question as to the name of an individual, but I believe Ray has gotten it, so I'd like under the public comments portion that the gentleman's name and address be put on the sheet that we adopt.
Oh, okay, that was at the end of last
Yeah,
month's
we
meeting?
just showing Middletown, it really didn't work well.
Okay, so what was the full name?
It's, actually, you stand it right there, so it's John, what's it, Kupyan?
Can you spell it, please?
Kupyn.
Kupyn.
Kupyn, and your address, because we don't have that either.
281 Richard Street, Belford, New Jersey.
Richard Street?
Yep.
Okay.
So with that change, I'll move the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Okay, next item is
I'll
the,
just, wait a minute. Mrs. Smith? Yes. Mrs. Stokes?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
next item is the consent agenda. In consideration of the consent agenda, does anyone desire to discuss an individual item in these resolutions?
Any questions?
I need to have a motion first.
Say it again.
We need to have a motion on the floor to have a question.
Okay.
I'll move it.
Second.
Does anyone have any questions? So yes, Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith? Mrs. Stokes?
Yes.
Mr. Reed? Mrs. Beck?
Okay, next is the engineering status report.
Okay, I'm going to say the support for providing limited support to this kind of fine. Keep track of that for the most part. Submitted the water control center generator token evaluations report following our meeting. The Main Street repair replacement project, once again, is still on deferred to high priority items. Emergency generator pump station, emergency facilities with regard to gas service. We sent out a letter, following last meeting, we sent out a letter, with some telephone calls and email responses about giving us some satisfaction. So we're waiting a response. If I don't get a response, in fact, that was done by Ray. We got the letter now from the collector. So we'll give them another, this
Chantal, just to bring it back to, I think it's about time we contact the board of public utilities to file a complaint against the National Gas Service. They need to be more responsive. These things are needed. They are needed to protect public health and safety, and I'll be damned if we'll let New Jersey Natural Gas to install this, I guess this is wrong. I would like to see approval that this board, right, have Rich write a very strong word letter to the DPU about this.
We can certainly do that. Do we really think that that's going to change their procedure?
We need an answer. We can't keep sitting on this. God, what if we get hit with a sanitary?
We just use diesel fuel, that's all. I mean, the generators are running.
Yeah,
It's just a question of gas and
Of getting
alternate
the
fuel.
fuel. That's what the question is.
Well,
I think if we don't get a response, or even this week, we take stronger measures, and if it comes another letter from the attorney, that's their call. You know, with regard to that, eventually, if we don't get a response in the next several weeks, or how many do you want?
and as mentioned in the letter, running, we've been at this.
Yeah, when this
so
was-
We'll do
they're
that application.
Not getting any response. No, 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 no.
My Irish is off.
Well,
Yeah, let your writers down.
No.
With regard to the Emery Drive pump station improvements, we have scheduled a meeting for Thursday with the contractor to specifically discuss the ways that are necessary to the funding until such time as we get the funding. We really can't proceed with the actual construction renovations. We still get a job margin, we still get a shot. See what happens on Thursday, or additional costs, if any, is that, we delay 6 months, 9 months.
do you have any idea at all when you were funding, if it's, they're gonna break it loose, or it's gonna be gone forever?
We'll contact now, we're submitted to provide that. Kind of the same response, same feeling that the city's learning.
Was this response that they, one of the answers, yes, or was it cost benefit?
Yeah.
You know, the federal and state government has poured out money, left of money. Us little guys, all of a sudden, they're asking for a cost, benefit cost study. Where's all the other studies that they dumped the money on?
It was something that they could see, like picking up the it was a one-ticket item, and they reimbursed you for it. When we look at these small items, well, it's small to us, but it's small to them, now they can start making.
Well, we did pick it because there's probably no money left.
Well, as far as-
Sure. This,
You don't want my copies about the roof
Well, we'll
property.
keep your writers down.
AJ, EIT funded projects, once again, we're waiting for a response from them on the plans and specs. It's submitted. And, you know, there's issues that have been brought up with this also. There's still some ways undecided about what type of building. And we've gone back and basically looked at the difference between 100 here, 500. It's not that significant. They claim it's not a regulation that they force you to go to the 500. We have one person who turn around and say, well, it's not a regulation, but if you want funding, you're going to go to the higher regulation. So I think Sue and Brian,
but in the meantime, they go out and pour out the money to people to raise houses to the FEMA levels, they have don't seem any problem for that.
They haven't given them money.
here's what they're also deferring. Their maps don't even, energy specs don't even give you the exact, they're deferring to the local. What's that all about? I mean, what's the township, why is the township put in that position?
There was a township that would decide, like,
And somebody
how did
answers
they do
it.
that?
Somebody answers it. You know, they got these maps prepared and they don't have the exact height.
And from what I
I think we
understand,
got a better feel here with regard to the maps that are in authority. You know, that is the case. Right. You're right, they're raising houses, certainly.
Well, that was determined by what floodplain, what the area they're in, and it shall be up to a certain level, and that's it, then we'll give you money.
It
All of a
is,
sudden-
it is, but they also, don't recall, about a year ago, they backed off on the original areas of marine
Right.
zones. And all of a sudden changed them, because they got political pressure to come back. I don't get it. You know, the indecision is being made, everything was to hurry up and get in these mitigation projects.
Right.
And we did, it's sitting there undecided.
let me ask you something. What's the difference between a 100-year and 500-year floodplain? Is it like a foot or something?
It'd be much more.
But what about sections of the?
Here is only about a foot. Here we go.
So here, we
Here, I
should,
think we were less than a foot with regard to the instances.
okay. So would we be wise
Just
to
put it up.
do the engineering before the
That's what I
foot?
said, you are.
So you just tell them, okay.
They told you, you're not gonna get the money anyway.
It's one more
It
block.
doesn't matter.
One more step.
That's right, one more stuff like that. In fact, make it two, see what they do. Because then they say, well, you can't go that
Just
high.
make a decision, just tell us. Right?
We're gonna go two. Oh, you can't do that. You only can go one.
Well, I
They move
also,
on into the FAA saying we're too high.
no, I also heard from people who did raise their house, they don't want to get included. If you weren't, you already raised your house.
So they changed that.
No, you can't raise it without.
Without their,
Without them.
that's right, without their approval. So
I
if you went back.
don't think there's too many people raise their house till we got
Well,
the
there are,
okay.
some
There
people
are,
went,
just
they
go down
borrowed
there.
money from friends and family to raise it, and now all of a sudden they say, no,
Oh,
sorry.
well, down here, there's two houses,
Right here,
three houses.
Main Street.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, right on,
That's right, right around the gate.
Yeah, the control building slab, floor slam, that's after the, anticipated, and, move on that, I think we got some responses, quite a bit of responses. Anybody has any questions?
Good report as usual.
thank you very much.
I won't do my statement like I did last time.
And I appreciate all your time and effort as well.
The engineer subdivision report, there's two preliminary and final applications. The first one's the Atlantic Pier Company, which is two garden apartment buildings at 1336 Sears Avenue on Lakeside, 40 units. Recommended for preliminary and final.
Do you have a second, please?
And second, with one question now, these are direct connection fees
Yes.
related? There's no special housing or anything? Okay, so 40 units times. Check.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Bell?
And the second one is a house actually right on the corner of your 36 and Main Street, Belford, and converting it from a residential building to office space for the lawyer's office.
Yeah, we're requiring to do a extension, federal and collateral. It's right in the code.
Okay.
I'll move.
Second.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
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 The next is the resident report. Safety, no loss on accidents for the month of May. Regulatory area, for the month of May. We had trouble was the primary event. The good part was that the fine screens, the chain and the screens, apparently we were in contact with the company first, and basically they gave us the indication that there's nothing in their warehouse whatsoever. We sent it to Japan to get new chain made and all this, and we wound up getting in touch with our local company representative, and he was able to find us enough chain, and we're also expecting the plates too. We haven't received them yet. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We don't make anything in the United States anymore.
So, basically, the price tag on that is in the vicinity of $45,000, and it was submitted to the insurance, so that's in the works.
The Jeep is pretty good about paying quickly, aren't they?
Chip is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the truck money,
Yeah.
compared to FEMA money, there's no comparison.
Yeah. Okay, the financial results, April was a good month. We had almost 10% revenue above what we had budgeted for. For the year, we're still 4% ahead. On the expenses, we were 21% under, but for the year, we're pretty much even. So that's where we are. Treatment plant, the volume was up 7.08 million gallons per day.
Creeping.
Getting back to the old days.
Creeping.
We'll start dropping.
The old days.
Yeah. July, August will be down.
Yeah, June will be wet, this is probably gonna be up.
I like the way it's creeping.
Let's see, the coastal discharges, we've submitted everything that we've been requested, so has McBoa and Bay Shore also, so that package is being put together. We advertised for the sodium hypochlorite bid today. The bid opening is July 10th. Collection system, there were 32 calls during the month with 7 blockages. Let's see, we had an odor complaint and a noise complaint, so we're getting a variation on the theme. We've had 14 sewer lateral dig-ups, 2 in-plant repairs. The contract is taken over now by J. Fletcher Kramer as of July 1st, and actually we have to sign the contracts tonight. We're locating and GPSing the manholes in basins 7 and 9. We're doing everything in the streets right now. We're not going into the woods because we can do them in the winter. And we can see the end of this project because all we have now is 7, 9, 10, and 13. And then we'll have done the whole town. We still have to go back and catch some that we missed, but of the 7,500 manholes, we're closing in on it. So,
No, we're doing a good job.
yeah, it's been a very good project.
And can we add that the reason they don't go in the summer for everyone is just because of bugs and ticks?
Yeah.
And that's why
Well,
it's better
the
to-
brush is live.
Vegetation starts to seep in.
The only way they could go in is if they had fire,
Yeah.
Hazmat suit.
flamethrowers.
Yeah. On the personnel issue, we have our one mechanic who's on the temporary disability, and I've spoken to him quite a bit, and basically understand the situation better than I ever did. Basically, what he had a reaction to medication, and the doctors are basically waiting for this to flush out of his system, and it could happen in a matter of a day or a week, 2 weeks, a month, or never. And so literally the doctors have him taking the 6 months to hopefully he wakes up one day and is better. And at the end of the 5 months, they're pretty much going to talk to him and decide, okay, you're going to have to go for disability, or you can try to go back to work.
Is he on?
How long has he worked for us?
He's worked for us 19 or 20 years.
So he's eligible at 10 years for a disability.
Well, how old is he?
He's probably 40 or not even. Yeah.
Awfully young.
Yeah, the big thing would be, would he be able to get Social Security disability? That would be the first and foremost question in my mind. Would he be eligible for Social Security disability? Gets that, he's eligible for disability because it's 10 years on the job. You know, but that sounds to me like an almost an issue with, for a lawyer in terms of determining what happened to him from the drug, and is there any notice on the drug that could
Yeah,
happen?
but that's his issue.
Well, no, that's his, well, technically, maybe not just his issue, because if we're paying him sick time and other benefits that's caused by that medication, we might have a cause of action too, because we're an injured party in terms of paying him his salary and disability.
Well, I think
while
the
he's
whole
out.
matter's covered by workers' compensation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, he's actually on state disability.
Yeah, it's not uncommon that a person would apply for
Unless you
state,
use medication for an injury on the job.
state temporary disability either prior to filing the workers' compensation claim or during the pendency of a workers' compensation claim.
So this is a workers' comp claim?
I don't know, was he injured here at work or?
No.
Oh,
No,
well,
that's
then-
what would workers'
oh,
comp
I
be?
thought this was a work-related.
Yeah,
But suffice it to say, he's on disability, and we'll leave it at that.
yeah, the 6 months is basically gonna end in August. So at that point, we have to be prepared that he either stays or he goes, or we have to make a decision.
Let's hope for his sake
Yeah,
he comes back.
okay. Let's see, we received applications for the second shift operator position, and we're in a position to make a recommendation tonight. And then our chief mechanic, in the maintenance department is having an operation on his neck, and he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks.
Is that work-related?
No, he's not saying it is now. Yeah. Okay.
Now? What, now? Not saying it is now?
No, it's not. It's actually the second time he's had this type of operation. But he's not looking for, I asked him, and he's not looking to go through workers' comp.
He hasn't filed any claim.
No. Okay, let's see, there was a fourth application submitted during April, which is the one we just did, the Main Street. As I said, the management staff went down to the Water Environment Association conference. Brian went to the pre-bid meeting for the replenishment of the beach sand along Fort Monmouth Beach, and also the wastewater subsector update session, which is where he spoke with the DEP people. Let's see, the next, the only active project that's really had any progress this month has been the Red Hill Road, and also the White Castle in the back and forth, and the Emery Drive portion. Those are the projects that have some active activity. And, let's see, the future subdivision, there's really not really much change on that. So that's that. You see next, the pump station, the alarm system upgrade. This project, we've had this firm of Sky, the Morehouse Engineering. They put in our first pump station alarm system back starting in 1998. They've been taking care of our system, improving it over the years. And we're at the point now where we're looking to change our lease line system to a wireless system. So basically we can.
Morehouse Engineering really does have a unique knowledge of the system. Both in its installation, maintenance, installation of software, physical hardware, and it truly is it falls under the extraordinary services. Their unique knowledge of the system makes it almost impossible to bring in another firm to try and duplicate Morehouse efforts to do it. So we're asking that they be awarded this contract because of their unique knowledge of the system. If you brought in another firm and something didn't dive, or went wrong, or the system collapsed, the first thing that any concession firm would do would point the finger at the prior store, operator, whatever. So for sake of, go beyond consistency, it really is their unique knowledge of the system. And to that end, we're asking that the board approve this resolution awarding Mr. Moorhead because of their almost, well, it's
Morehouse.
yeah, Morehouse. It's really their almost individual knowledge of this system. That's how you.
If we let it outside, it would probably cost us more money to get someone up to snuff.
Sure, there would be more cost involved in their learning system and whatnot, and again, prevents future finger pointing, if you will, future, right, and future,
It's almost a design construct situation. Basically, the knowledge is being used to design the system.
so on that basis, we're asking that they be awarded.
And this price, so we do not have to go to bid, it's legal to do this.
Yeah, again, because of their unique knowledge of the system.
I'll make the motion as long as I'm sure that we have the legal right to do it.
This system is to replace the current line system with the wireless system. What do we get charged for the private line facilities charges per year?
Well, it's almost 48,000.
Okay, and we're gonna replace that with a wireless system. Do you have any idea what the wireless charges will be?
It should be less than $40 per month for the state. The figure may be 20.
For 20, that's $800,000?
Yeah. They said even less than that.
Plus we need the equipment, the private. Okay, not a bad deal. It's quite better. The private line is going out, it's all copper stuff.
Yeah.
So it's great to get out of it.
How much do we get from copper? Is it hour?
No, it's on the pole. You can go up anytime you get. Just take the damn for it. Tell me when you get it up.
And they were the wire.
Why don't I see this News Channel 6 episode coming up right now?
Right, so.
Get out the copper
conversion
wire.
is almost seamless because of their prior installation of the wire system. And it is a proprietary system. You've got.
So I have a motion, but I need a second. Okay, I have a motion and I have a second.
Yes.
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 So the next is a resolution for the account that we discussed it. Jason Castle is a background investigation. We're ready to hire him at $20.89 per hour.
He is, the board is aware, the first 90 days will be probationary, so things don't look out. We don't expect it.
And background, has any background?
All backgrounds, everything checked successfully.
Make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
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 The next resolution, we don't need to go through the meeting, the office for the truck.
So what are we gonna do with it? Send it to Brady on Kevin?
No, cheap truck.
Lower the minimum pay.
Maybe if you use this one because
Let's go about $150,000.
minus 30.
Does it pay for us to just, if we're gonna sell it for that bill?
Well, it's not, we did the same thing we did every other time, but we went on public news. They had said that because of the utility body on the gas, we were $59,000. But we went out to the minimum bid of $75,000. reason we keep a minimum bid is because if it, if we have that long, it's $50
$50 cash, right?
No, I think you have to advertise the price and then Okay, the next item is the construction fund analysis. We did transfer this month, we transferred $50,000, or sorry, $500,000 from the Valley National Fund into the general fund. These are all the projects that are ongoing, listed with major design and construction estimates. Next is the budget. Bottom line on the budget is 27% quarter of the year so far. None of the items are good in part of that. What about the pension for the ability fund? The pension fund is just because they're waiting to go. They're building one or 2 months. Same thing with insurance and the bonds. In fact, down here with the debt service, we have already made the first payment on the principal and interest each year, but it doesn't get recorded until after we pay the second one. Okay. Next item is the staff report.
Your turn, Brian.
Like I was talking about before, the drive conversation, grant application, what had put it together, and that was submitted. The emergency claim generator application that was also approved in my grant. I think you remember that was going in together with the townships. That's one big application with the township to go along with their emergency generators for schools, emergency facilities, things like that.
I'm sorry, can I ask everybody to speak up because we have the blower going here, I can't really hear you that well. Can you just speak up, please?
Sure. The next item is the reimbursement request. There hasn't been any change from the past month. I've had phone calls with them and emails, going through the system online and posted requests for them to hurry up a nicer version. And they say they're looking into it.
So there's been no movement?
None.
I reserve my comment. Like last.
There was a project worksheet, that's one of the project worksheets, remember, yes, the projects cleaning up after Sandy, restoring the plant. It was originally rejected by FEMA because they believed that it was going to be covered by the joint insurance fund. FEMA said they're not going to cover it, so it's our bid back in FEMA's scope. There's the diesel vehicle emissions retrofit program by DEP, and that involves all the diesel vehicles. We don't have to go through mentioning all the vehicles that are exempt, so it's pretty clear. The coastal dischargers group, the attorneys are getting the information together for submitting all the information to DEP is required by the settlement. Pass along a bunch of information to them to Florida. The sodium hypochlorite big package was put together and was actually sent to the newspapers today. So that'll be in the newspaper later this week. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is doing a refinement project in Fort Monmouth. They're pretty much all on the county park. I think it's 4,000 linear feet each. They're extending out along with the jetties. New fishing pier, all of that fishing pier is new anyways. In any case, it doesn't look like there's any impact to our facility. So we'll just monitor that, make sure that nothing happens to our facilities. The insurance claim for the fine screening was submitted and we received a receipt from the GIFs saying that they received it, working on it. The charts for the borough of Atlantic Highlands flows are attached. They're both over 90% of their proposed flow limit for the month of May.
Is this something, when we bill them, we should present to them as a matter of information?
We
Have any value, or?
I think that was part of the agreement, that once they got to a certain number, they would be notified.
Right, well, they're starting to kick up, I guess.
Yeah, you know, whether it's 90% or 85%, I think you gotta look at it over a period of time, and whether or not they've been that way for a while.
And average it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the flow chart for 2014, they're, for the most part, for the months out of the 5, they're past what they did in 2013, and if June and August get hit, like, I'm looking at the flow charts, if they go over that, they're gonna be really high.
Well, let's run a 2 or 3 month run, and the matter of information and down the line.
Yeah, because March they were under.
Well, we all were, I mean.
Yeah, and
All
they
the
were
illegal
fairly
connections
close
to the sewer system.
in April.
We're going to address some items in executive session regarding contract negotiations this evening. And I ask that in your comments,
All right, does anybody have any questions?
One more, just a few more things. We're getting a new phone system along with a new phone carrier. We're going from Verizon to Comcast. There'll be a phone dedicated for conference calls for this room. ADP, the payroll system's been upgraded and is in use. We're getting the documents together for scanning the authority records and digitizing them. And we're looking into off-site backup of the server here, so that we'll have both the tape drive and off-site backup.
So you're gonna run it in parallel?
Backup.
Service. You got an off-site server and you have a server here.
What
So
it-
you're basically gonna run in parallel? Or are you just gonna back it up?
We're just gonna back up the server.
So if this server goes down, we're down?
As of right now, yes.
No, as of after we do off-site backup?
On the off-site backup, within 3 days, we'll have a new server sitting on the doorstep.
Okay, so we're down, we're not going in parallel.
And there'll also be,
It's not parallel, but we will be getting a new
But
service.
is the update continuous or periodic?
continuous.
So it could be parallel. Because you've got 2 databases, 2 servers, and basically you can almost instantaneously switch over.
Yeah, it's not set up that way.
I know that, but I'm just throwing that on the table.
No, the one server basically is striving to be a complete duplicate of the other.
Yeah.
And then, in addition, there's a third server where it's being stored off-site, so.
But typically what they do is they run them in parallel, so in case the server goes down for any reason, it'll be strictly blown off fuse or something. This one immediately takes over.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, the last item is George's report. George is under the weather, so he's not here tonight.
Another one.
There's blue sky there.
Okay.
Did you have anything to pass on?
No, I think he'll be happy with hiring the new mechanic. That'll make his day.
Okay.
Okay, that's his report, excellent.
Okay, actually, next is public comments.
Yeah. Do you think? I do. Linda Bound, 19 May Court, and this wasn't going to be on my list of comments, but the blower, that's been off for at least the last 4 meetings or so, and I thought it had been resolved to keep that off during public meetings so that the public could hear what the board is saying. With that on, we really can't hear at all. So a question then is it a public meeting if the public can't hear anything?
I hope you could consider addressing this or perhaps keeping that off during public meetings.
It depends on the weather outside, whether it comes on or off. So if
Well, you know, we
get
can
some nice
actually,
weather-
that's if it's on automatic. It can be turned off for the public meeting. It won't hurt to keep it off for an hour.
Right, and then
Or-
everyone will either freeze or sweat.
Okay, well, you can use microphones. There's a lot of things that you can do. You could use, move your meeting to a different location that has, you know, that doesn't have that problem. You could use microphones, you could keep that, keep the
Or
blower off.
perhaps we could take the camera, move it closer, and you could sit in the front row as well.
You know, there
It
are
goes
times,
both ways, am I correct?
there are times when I have asked to put that audio recorder on the table so that at
I'll
least
tell you what, set it
I
right over
could
there
get.
next time, you'll catch everything. it'll be
Legally, we
fine.
can't do that, and if I.
You can't set it up right there?
Sir, you haven't been on this board that long, but I can tell
I'm
you.
asking you, you told me
Is
legally you
that
can't
fine?
put it right there?
Can we put it closer? Or can
I
we
said
put it
right
on the
over
other
there.
side of the
You said legally
room?
you couldn't do
I
it over
think
there.
Michael was pointing to a different direction than you want.
Okay, the blower's right there.
The
Okay.
blowers are all in
Ma'am,
this
I
one
walked to
car.
the opposite end of the room, and that blower is not going the way this one
Which is
is.
why over there is probably best, because there's no door right there.
Okay, but that's blocking an aisle.
But on the end there's blocking an eye.
All right,
I'd put it right there.
all right, you had it over here 1 month and then you stopped doing it.
That's the audio, that's the audio. I'm talking about the camera, which also, the audio from the camera is not, we're not gonna get any sound on this for when that blower was running.
Well, what
All right.
happens with putting it over here?
That's the audio recorder. I'm talking about the camera right now. So where can I set up the camera then?
Put it on the side over there, or it should be fine.
All right, tell you what, we'll discuss it next time when I come here. Okay, maybe over here where the plant is, probably, okay. Well, we'll talk about that then, okay. But again, that doesn't really solve the problem, of people sitting here being able to hear. Then it's still a problem, so I still think that that system should be kept off. For 1 hour, it won't hurt, I mean, there's enough air getting into the room. Something I wanted to address with Mr. Leahy, I put in an open request to get some documents for who is receiving medical coverage, and there was a list of those receiving dental coverage with 2 names crossed out, where you crossed out the names, it was 2 people were retirees, and you subtracted out a number. So I'm wondering what that's about. Are those people receiving COBRA coverage such that the authority is getting reimbursement?
No, it's simply the bill keeps coming in with names that shouldn't be on there. They're retirees, they don't get dental. So,
No, I understand
yeah.
that, but the bill is coming in that way, so
And we
then,
hand correct it every month and send it back, and they never fix it.
okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, seems that they should, okay,
Yeah.
well, that answers that question. I hope you can hear me now, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Can hear you very well.
I can hear you very well.
Well, I'm speaking loudly, many of you speak softly, it's very hard for us to hear. In light of, you had recently had adopted an increase to your sewer charge that will bring in, I think it's supposed to take effect in July, and it's going to bring in roughly an estimate of $520,000 extra dollars per year. And I was wondering if, in light of the need to, your revenue needs this year with all of the things, the repairs and things that need to be done, if you plan, or if you're planning at this time to make a transfer to the township as has been done for the last 4 years.
The township has not asked us for appropriation.
And if they do come to you and ask for one,
We will,
We're not gonna deal with hypotheticals.
we will deal with that if and when the township comes.
do you think it's appropriate?
I have no
We're not
idea.
gonna
In-
deal
in
with
a-
hypotheticals, and we're not gonna comment on speculation.
Well, it's not really speculation. I'm asking if you think it's appropriate in a year when
We're not gonna
you
give
have.
opinions as to a hypothetical
Okay, well, we'll talk
situation.
about that. Okay. Not long back, this is February of this year, I had asked for email accounts that were being used by the board, and I was given email addresses that had, tomsanj.com ending, and I was told that they've only been established in January. So I'm wondering what happened to all that correspondence for the last 5, 10, 20 years. What accounts were used during that time?
This board rarely uses email. We've established email. accounts.
You rarely use email? Okay. Do you remember when I tried to put my audio recorder over there and Ms. Val, you stopped me, and I said that I'd been given permission, and you said that you had responded by email with your opinion. I have it on audio that you said that.
It's obvious that a member of the public is.
I have it on audio that you said you responded by email.
really doesn't.
What email was used at that time? And do you still have that?
Comments.
Thank you for your comment.
All right, I have that on audio, that you said that you used email to establish a policy, and I want to know if you still have that email.
You sent the letter to me, and Mr. Mayor said, and we responded to that letter. There was no email. I do not use email.
And the response I got, all right, gave me permission to put it there, and you blocked me from putting it there.
No, the response was that Mr. Mayor.
All right, tell you what, I'll bring the audio next meeting, and I'll play it for
Mr.
you.
Mayor said, responded to you, that he would put it there, and you came over, you wanted to put it there. We have private papers here that are not for your eyes. So therefore, I said, please sit down, and Mr. Mayor said we put it there, and that's the way we handled it.
Madam Chair, this particular public purpose, 5 minutes is up. And, move on to the next person who may have public comment. Any other public comment? None? Close the public comment section. If necessary pursuant to
No, motion
No, we
first.
close it after. We go into executive session to discuss matters of personnel, contract negotiation, two personnel items, and a contract negotiation.
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
Madam Chair, can we have a 2-minute break?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Here you go.
Thank you.